I'm going to show you guys how to change a battery and do what the OEM fit and finish. Okay, first thing we're going to do, make sure power's off, keys out, all that stuff. Boom, done. Next thing we're going to do is locate our battery. And this is my Z car, 350Z, so it is right here, and it says battery. So this tab right here will expose the battery. To get it out, we're going to have to remove the plastic piece here. And to do that, we need to remove these clips. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. I'm going to show you how to remove those. All right, so here's what one of those clips look like right there. And I'm just using a flathead screwdriver. This one's really the smallest one I could find. Now you can get a panel puller and all that good stuff, but I just wanted to use just stuff that you would just normally have in your garage. So we got a small screwdriver. What we want to do is try and just get underneath that head and pop it up like that. And that will release underneath there. Now what we're trying not to do is what happened in this one is break these little tabs, because once you break them, this will no longer hold and you'll have to replace them. Now I have a whole bag of these and we'll be replacing some, but we're going to try and do it and not break any. Okay, we didn't break any on this one, but what's really good about those little plastic rivet panel pullers is they won't gouge. Whoops. They won't gouge into your fastener and damage them. So if you are just going to use a screwdriver, be careful not to damage it, because got a little chunk out right there. All right, so once you have that panel removed, this is what it's going to look like. We've got our negative and our positive. As you can see, my little positive cover is broken. But, so we still need this out of the way. So we're gonna remove that right there. That'll allow us to lift this up. You don't wanna break these pieces, just take the extra time and move it out of the way. So we're gonna remove that, and then we can see our battery so we can get the tie down, get these cables off. All right, so we're there to the battery. I'm looking at we got that lifted up so we can get to the back bolt there on the battery tie down. We got some damage right here. If you can see, that nut is completely rounded. Someone has obviously been here before. So we're gonna take off the negative, but we can't put a wrench on it, so I'm gonna have to use some pliers and get that off and out of the way. The positive looks good and everything else looks pretty good. That one was super loose. They didn't put it on all the way. So we're gonna see what we can do to replace that nut. All right, battery's out. You can see this one is from 2014. We've got our 920 over here. It's looking good, it's ready to go. But, so we got it out. Here's your battery tie down. Good chance to just get everything cleaned up. If it needs any paint, this one's good. This is the tie down that goes in the back on a 350. Tie down that goes on the front. It's kind of weird that one's not painted black since everything else is. Here is the nut, if you can see. Looks more like a donut. That's damaged, definitely needs replaced. Just take this time to replace any broken, damaged bolts. And we're gonna go ahead and clean where our battery used to be on the battery tray. Just get everything cleaned up, because you don't get in there very often. And at this rate, it'll be another 6 years before we have to replace that battery again. So I'm gonna get this cleaned up. We've got our cables there. These ones are really in good condition. There's no corrosion. You wanna check your cables for corrosion. Just get everything cleaned up. So that's what we're gonna do next. All right, so we got it cleaned up. It is looking good. All right here. So while you're in there cleaning up, I noticed like this was loose, so we put that back on. We're missing one of those clips back there on that other to hold that in place. So not only are we cleaning it, we're really just taking an inventory of anything that might be out of place and need attention. So we're gonna replace that. I put the weather stripping back on. We'll replace that guy that we're missing. Everything else looks good. We're gonna get the battery in place and we're almost done. Here's our replacement parts for that bolt and that nut combination that wasn't working. This went down to the local auto parts store, in this case Walmart, and bam, hooked it up for $3. and we should be good to go. We don't want to use broken parts. No sense in doing that when you're going through, replace the broken stuff, get new stuff on there. You'll thank yourself later. All right, we're going to take a quick second here. This is the OEM piece that we're replacing. If it focuses, you can tell the super chewed up doesn't work. But what I wanted to show is on this nut, it has a shoulder right there that allows it to slip into place on the cable to make sure it grasps nicely. And you can see the ones I got, just cheap, super generic, basically a squared off bolt and a nut. There's no shoulders. So what I did, because it is important, we want it to clasp correctly to hold it on there and not have any voltage issues with the electrical system, and just so it is getting voltage from the battery and closing that circuit. So what I did here, as you can see, the shoulder needs to pass this part. I just threw a couple 3 lock washers on there, and that's gonna do the job. And that's what it's gonna look like with the replacement bolt on there. So next thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna get this hooked up. I'm gonna hook it up the same way we took it off. I'm gonna hook up the positive first. And as long as it's not grounded, it can't run any current through the circuit. So it's still not live. Once we hook up the ground, that will complete the circuit, and then it can be live. But we'll do that, and then we'll start putting the trim back. All right, so cables are on, and I just want to show you, as you can see here, we have our nut all tightened up on the negative terminal post. And as you can see, those washers are doing a job, so we're not sitting here fighting this and destroying our cable. It's a nice, smooth transition, and it is secured in place, not going anywhere. Positive secured in place. Our battery tie down is on. So now we can go ahead and button up. We'll get the top cover plate back on, replace any broken retainer clips. All right, so there you have it. Everything is back in place, and as you can tell, it looks really nice because we just cleaned it all up. Better than when we started, so it should definitely look better than when we started, since we just cleaned everything and we got a new battery. And also, no extra pieces. If you did extra pieces, you did something wrong. So no weight reduction here. Everything's back as it should be. Is that OEM fit and fitment? There we go. Last thing to do is check, make sure that it's gonna start, and congratulations. All right, so it started. We're good to go. Battery looks good. The voltage looks great. Started right up, sounded super healthy. So congratulations if this is your first time you're ever doing a battery. A little bit of maintenance that we did here, battery replacement. Pretty simple. I know it's entry level stuff, but you know, it's nice to just see the process, see it do it. Maybe you got to do it on your Z and you want to kind of see what you're going to get yourself into. That way you can know what you're going to see before you see it, and know what parts you might need to do the project complete. Anyways, I appreciate it. You want to see more stuff like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you got any value out of this, hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. It lets me know that people appreciate this content. So until then, we'll see you next time.